What's going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. So here is the Ezgo golf cart again, 36 volts, converted to 312-volt batteries, group 31. And I've made a bunch of videos, but one thing I guess I'll say that I forgot to show you guys are all of the add-ons or the controls that I installed, which is not much. So the first thing that I did, and in some of the videos you can see, is I just bought this dual LED headlight. Originally this thing came with a square headlight, so got that on. I also got this LED light, which is a running light if you do use it at night or when it's getting dark. Everything else came with the golf cart, the roof, the windshield. They used to have speakers mounted on the back, so I still have to clean the top of the roof up and then basically silicone it in place. When it comes to the accessories, as you guys can see, I installed 2 speakers. I bought this whole kit off eBay. It's a pile, marine style speakers and head unit, basically waterproof, which it is to a certain degree. So I got the speakers pretty much placed where I thought was ideal without, drilling through the roof again or creating, pods or anything like that. So they fit nice and snug. There's a single screw at 6 o'clock. The battery meter, obviously the head unit. This head unit here is AM, FM. Also has Bluetooth, and you can turn it on just by pushing the button here. And obviously the music comes on and all that. So it sounds pretty good. I mean, from just the 2 little speakers here, and really that's all you need. It did come with the antenna, which is, I'll show you guys right here. It's like one of those old school collapsible antennas. What else? Oh, as far as the switches, so I did put 2 switches in. One of them is lights. The original switch was like one of those pull-out switches. It was just wore out. So when you flick the lights on, that's exactly what it does. It turns on this LED, which is actually pretty bright at night, and then turns on this guy here. So the second switch that I installed, and I made a video about this, is for the battery. And what that basically means is when I flick it on, it turns the battery indicator on. I originally thought there was power going to the ignition switch. There's not. It's just a normally open, normally closed switch. So there's no power. I ended up grabbing power from the solenoid, but then it was kind of funky because it would work in forward, but then in reverse it wouldn't work. So I ended up just pulling power from one of the batteries and just running it to the C-post on the battery meter or the range meter, whatever you want to call it. And then all I really did is just cleaned up the wiring behind the head unit. Nothing too crazy, honestly. It's just something to, have fun with. I did add this rear view mirror, which I think is pretty important, not only to see behind you. I don't have side mirrors, I don't need them, but also because of the jump seat that's in the back here. And if I have kids or passengers, especially smaller kids, I want to make sure they're all still there and not fooling around. So all of these accessories were very cheap. I think I bought this whole thing for like $40 or $30, the head unit and the 2 speakers. They were brand new. They were never installed. Somebody just bought it and probably obviously realized that it's not the greatest head unit, but it's great for this little Ezgo. And I do like the position, right? The older Ezgos actually had like a single DIN cutout where you can put a head unit in, which is pretty cool. It does come with a little remote, which I never use. So that's that. 2 little cup holders came with the golf cart. As far as the routing of the wires, everything comes from under the seat, goes under the frame, then up through this little cubby or the storage area. They actually do sell conversion kits where you can put we'll say front covers to make them into a lockable glove box on either side. That's something that I want to do. And that's really overall what I did. Besides, I've made videos about the upholstery for the front seats to match the rear jump seat that came with it. New tires were installed. And, the plan, as I said, in my last video is if I do decide to keep this, I will send out the electric motor to Plum Quick to get it upgraded to get a few more miles an hour. And also the plan is to add 2 more batteries to the existing setup to get a little bit more range out of it. And that's really it. I'm hoping tomorrow I will dump the gear lube out of the rear axle and then refill it. It's kind of a funny thing, but when I was here, if you look, there's a plug that I put in. So whoever was servicing this golf cart, originally it was in service in Indiana. They actually drilled a hole, which is fine. That's where the fill port is for the axle. So you dump the pan, you basically drain everything out, you clean up the pan, you put gasket maker or black silicone on, you bolt everything back up, you let it dry, and then you fill through that little hole. There's actually a hose that clips in, and you use a transfer pump basically to put in, I think it's about 1 quart, 2 quarts, I'm not sure. I can look it up later. But that's really it, and the bushing, I just have to remove the steering wheel. Maybe eventually I'll replace the steering wheel because this one is original. Shows a little bit of wear, but once again, it has no effect on the overall, we'll say, drivability of the golf cart. And the brakes and the shocks. Shocks are just original, they're soft. The brakes are also out of adjustment, or the pads, or the shoes actually in this case, are just wore out. But it works. It definitely works. The whole front end was greased. There's very little play in the steering actually. I greased everything in this golf cart over the winter, and I'm probably going to do it towards end of summer as well. But yeah, very simple setup, guys. 2 switches, one for the lights, one for the battery meter. On the newer golf carts, you actually do have power running to the ignition switch. They're a little bit more modern. Same thing with the speed sensor and whatnot. But if I do decide to go with a rebuilt motor, I will not use a controller. It will just be stock setup through a solenoid and everything else. And then for this light here, what I got it actually, it was a pain in the butt. So you got this structural support, which is hollow, that holds up the roof. So I ran a positive and a negative. That's the only thing you can see, just a tiny bit of wire. I might put some electrical tape on it if I decide to, but that's how that's ran to power up the rear light. And that's really it, guys. I will update you once I do more stuff to it. I do plan on washing it and cleaning it one more time. I actually washed it about 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, for the first time, cleaned the window, and of course our kids, they put fingerprints all over the place. But I'll clean it up a little bit and see where we go with this golf cart. Either A, we're going to keep it, sell it, or do something. But like I said, if we end up keeping it, no lift. I will keep the stock tires. I'm not doing all that. It'll just have 2 more batteries for more range, and eventually basically a higher torque, higher horsepower electric motor, which will chew up a little bit more battery, but at the same time, it will give you 2 to 3 miles per hour faster. Now, another question that I do get, and I'll kind of end this once I give you guys an idea. People say, does the top speed change if you load up your golf cart? No, it doesn't. The top speed remains the same because it's electric. So the torque and the power output is the same. The only thing that changes, obviously, the more load you put on or more weight you put on your electric motor, and obviously your batteries, the distance or the range will obviously drop. And so far I've been averaging, even if I have 5-6 people on this golf cart, when I say 5-6 people, maybe 2-3 adults, the rest of them are kids, I still get about 10 or 11. So, if you average out with like 2 more batteries, it'll be close to 18, 19, maybe even 20 if it's a lighter load. But hey, that's the latest update, latest and greatest, and I will talk to you guys later. And of course, if you have a similar golf cart or have questions, just comment below and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability.